If you want to impress your sweet loving friends, make them these Millionaire shortbread bars. I don't love the name of these. I don't know why. I think it's just because it's kind of a mouthful. But my daughter Ellie loves these so much, we started calling them Ellie bars in our house. These are definitely a labor of love to make, but trust me when I say totally worth it. Let's make them together. Start by lining a 9x13 pan with parchment paper and make sure the parchment paper goes up the sides of the pan. First, we have to make a shortbread crust. You start by creaming butter and sugar together. Then you add in an egg yolk and some vanilla, some flour and salt. The dough will look crumbly, but if you grab a handful and squeeze, it'll form together. Pour that into your lined pan and press down nice and firm. Then score the top using a fork. Pop that in the oven and bake it for about 20 minutes. While that's baking, I make my caramel filling. Start by melting butter in a saucepan on medium heat. Then you add in brown sugar, corn syrup, sweetened condensed milk, and a little bit of salt. This is where it becomes a little bit labor intensive because this step takes about 30 minutes. On a medium-low heat, you want to cook this caramel sauce very slow until it reaches a temperature of about 220 degrees Fahrenheit. If you don't have a thermometer, you can wing this because once it's ready, it will start to pull away from the sides of the pot, thicken up slightly. But I will say again, do not rush this. Take your time. Just keep stirring and keep checking the temperature. Once it's ready, you're going to remove it from the heat and add in a splash of vanilla. You're going to give that another good mix and pour over top of your baked crust. And pop this in the fridge and let it set for at least an hour. The last step to making these is to make the chocolate topping, which is essentially a thick chocolate ganache. In a saucepan over medium heat, you're going to bring heavy cream to just a boil. That means basically as soon as you start to see it bubbling, you take it off the heat. You add in your chocolate chips and stir. It should be really smooth and glossy looking. Pour this over top of your caramel filling, and you can use a spatula to spread it out and make it look really pretty. You can top this with coarse salt. I would like to use flaked sea salt, but I can't find any anywhere. Not too much, just a little bit to give that salted caramel flavor. Then you guessed it, it's got to go back in the fridge, and in this case, I let it sit overnight until the next day. Fast forward to the next day, it is ready to cut up and enjoy. It pops out of the pan really well, and this is why I said to make sure you have the parchment paper line the sides of the pan as well, because the caramel is quite sticky and will stick to the pan. Once it's set in the fridge, especially overnight, it's pretty durable, so you don't have to be too delicate with this step. When you're cutting it up, I recommend having a wet cloth or paper towel beside you so you can wipe your knife. It also helps if you run your knife under hot water to make it easier to cut. This just gives that really professional look, sharp, clean edges. When you spend so much time making something, you want it to look as beautiful as it tastes good. I find this is best served at room temperature. If you eat it straight out of the refrigerator, the caramel can be a little bit hard. But letting sit on the counter for about 30 minutes before you enjoy, it's perfect. Leftovers store in the refrigerator so it doesn't get too soft. It also freezes really well if you want to make a big batch ahead of time. I hope if you try this, you love it as much as my family does. Let me know if you give this a try, and don't forget to follow for more yummy recipes.